Hello, today's July 22nd, 2024. Today I'm going to be updating my predictions after the Biden dropout. I'm going to go over some of the effects of that and go over if it changes a little bit of this race. And it does. Obviously, Trump is still the favorite. I'm going to go over past. Democrats are closer to winning than they were 2 weeks ago when everything was just awful for them. One more thing, I want to apologize if you hear like a beep in the background. I'm mostly going to be talking this whole time so no one can hear it, but you probably hear it now actually. We have someone working on our yard, and whenever they back up the machine, because they're doing sidings or whatever, whenever they back up the machine, you can just hear the beeping of the backing up. So hopefully that isn't too loud in this. Uh, so this is interesting. We've never dealt with this before. I've never dealt with this before. I've gotten every state in 2020, the presidential election, at least, all correct. I predicted Georgia going blue. I predicted North Carolina and Florida going red, which at that point in time, people thought they would go blue. And I also predicted Arizona flipping. I also predict, yeah. So I don't know. I was pretty good at it, is what I'm trying to say. And now I hope this doesn't affect me. I think I'm gonna still do pretty good. Uh, so you'll notice how I got, if you watched the last video, I got Donald Trump's vice president 100% correct. I mean, this was before his short list even came out, I think. I said he was going to pick someone like JD Vance. Uh, you know what? Maybe the short list was out. But still, I got one of the three. It was pretty obvious. Uh, even though they were saying he was like closing in on Rubio or something, which made no sense to me. Rubio would be a bad pick for vice president. I mean, so all of them are. The only guy who I thought would maybe be qualified to be Trump's VP was Doug Burgum because he has much more experience and he's not ridiculously old. JD Vance is young, inexperienced, and hasn't really done anything in his career. So we'll just see how that goes. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he was the best choice for Trump. And then Harris, vice president. Now this is completely messed up because the Biden Harris ticket was a pretty easy thing to predict. You know, I had Trump flipping Wisconsin, Michigan. No, I didn't have him flipping Michigan and PA, I don't think. But I had him flipping Michigan. Oh, no, I just said that. I haven't had him flipping Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona and Nevada. That was enough to have him win more than he needed to. Like, more than enough. He could have gone without, like, two of those states. Now, some of that changes. Again, I'm not going to be like a biased Democrat saying, "Oh, this changes everything." It does change a lot, though. You know, online it looks like, I mean, almost every member of Congress it has endorsed Harris. That could be slightly incorrect, but a lot of the big names have already endorsed Harris. They're completely down with it. Obama said basically endorsed Harris. He just said he's going to endorse whoever's nominated, and Biden's telling his pledged delegates to go for Harris. There's not going to be an open primary. People who think there's going to be an open primary, uh, I don't know what to tell you other than that's almost not possible to have one by the time between now and the DNC or when the nomination happens. That's almost impossible, uh, if not illegal. I don't know how that works, but you could also make the argument that the party didn't choose Harris, and I would argue back that they voted for the Biden Harris ticket. They knew Harris had a very good chance of becoming president if Biden was reelected. So it's kind of a gray area. We've never dealt with this, but I'd say Democrats are have actual momentum for the first time in like a year. They need to shove this down everyone's throats. This is going to be the new ticket, and I think it's a better ticket for at least for votes. I don't know if I don't know if she's elected, she's gonna be a better president than Biden. I thought he did pretty decent. I thought both did pretty decent actually. Biden and Trump. I'm sorry. I know they both had some things, but I mean obviously I have a favorite. Like I said, I don't want to be biased and just say Harris is going to win. I am a Democrat. So I'm just going to go over this as quick as possible, how I go over the margins, and then explain my points of view. So for one, I think she's going to pick Newsom or someone like Newsom. I'd be very surprised if she doesn't pick a white man. Again, I don't think it matters if she doesn't. It's just the very minimal amount of people, Democrats, who would vote for her because she picked a white guy. I don't know, maybe get more Georgia votes? I have no idea. To be honest, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say Newsom because he has been rising up in the party. He has been all in the public. Uh, Harris is gonna have a lot of money coming in as well. Yesterday it was quoted, she's going to have an avalanche of donors, avalanche of cash or whatever they said, uh, coming for her. Biden's giving his campaign money to Harris, I believe. I think he's allowed to do that. They might have to give donors an option for a refund or something. But other than that, most of them won't do that. So they pretty much, she pretty much gets all of Biden's money for her campaign. She's already got a lot of donations. And again, all the donors that were previously out raising Trump are now going to be probably outraising him again, in my opinion. I don't know how much of a factor like 40 million a month Elon donates to Trump is, but whatever. So what I'm going to go over now is the margins finally. Kansas, safe Democrat. Obviously, it's not safe Democrat. I should. It's not a joke. I'm just showing it as an example. So when it's something is safe Democrat, that means it's 15% or more. That's the dark blue. So if Harris won Kansas 60 to 40. That's a 20% victory, and that would be more than 15 points. So that would be a Harris safe win. Likely would be anywhere between 7 and 14.9%. So under 15 over 7 or 7 plus. You know what I mean. That would be likely. Lean would be 2% to 6.9%. I know a lot of people do 2 to 4.9, but a lot of people do 5 to 10, and then 10 would be safe. I don't do that. I like being. I don't know. I just do this differently. I don't know why I do. I just do. And then tilt Democrat would be anything under 2 points. So 0.001 to 1.999 is what tilt would be. So now, I mean, I would just say lean at that point if it's 1.99, but still. Uh, that's how it looks. And same with the with the Republicans. I meant safe, likely, lean, and tilts. It just shows a more appealing map with a lot. It's more different. You can get a better example of the depth. Obviously, New Jersey isn't as Democrat as New York is. Actually, the polls are weird in New York, and I'll go over that too. 1 second. I'd take a sip. I'm already getting dehydrated. Okay. So I'm just going to fill in the safe Republican states. Obviously not much has changed, so it's easy to go over a lot of these places that I did last time: Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, probably Indiana. I'm going to say Iowa. I was so far gone from the Democrats that the fact that they still spend money there is frustrating to me. I feel like even if I was a Republican, I'd be mad. And then, well, I mean, no, I'd be happy because they're wasting money in Iowa. Same with Florida, but Florida's not safe by the 15-point definition yet. Nebraska at large, Nebraska's first district, and Nebraska's third district. Nebraska's first district, I think, last time was likely, but after the redistricting, I don't know how that has changed anything. I think it might have actually made Nebraska 1 point more Democrat, but generally the country shifted Republican since 2020 because I don't even go over it. Oh, Missouri, 15 points. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna say Mississippi as well. Even though every other Mississippi race is usually single digits, besides the one senator. The governor could have gone Democrat in 2023. That was actually close. That was like a 6 point victory. There was a way that Democrat could have won. Uh, Utah, I think Evan McMullen. Last time I forgot his name, but I just remembered it now. I'm very proud of myself. He didn't lose by that much in Utah. He could have won that Senate seat. Uh, but I'm going to go, again, like I said, I'm going to go over the safe states first. So I'm going to go over the safe Democrat states now. And again, you might be looking at, oh, Kansas and Montana, Utah, not safe. Oh, that's so biased. But it's literally just of the margin. It's not the actual definition. Obviously, Utah, Montana, and Kansas are 100% going Republican. I'm just not doing that by them. I'm doing by margins. I like numbers. I'm doing margins. Leave me alone. So I'm going to say California, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, Vermont, Maine's first. I'm going to say Illinois now. I said Illinois likely last time, I think, because it was only 16 points in 2020, but I think Harris is going to do better in Illinois than Biden did, maybe. Okay, that sounds like I'm saying that just because she's uh, multiple race or whatever. I just think she has a better platform for Illinois in general. Uh, Hawaii also safe, and again, you might look at. Oh, I'm gonna say Washington as well. I know Washington's polls have been very very weird. Same with New Jersey. Oh, I'm also gonna say Connecticut. Connecticut went back mostly, and New York. I'm sorry, I forgot New York and DC. I know. I thought I was done, and then I just kept looking, and oh, I missed that. I missed that. I missed that. So New York might have weird polls right now, but by the time it's election day, it's probably going to be close again. Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, actually had a likely margin, so she did not win safely. That was probably because of the Cuomo thing. And I know polls are like, oh, Biden was only up 8 points here. Well, guess what? He ended up going up 3 points after the debate somehow, and so did Harris. Harris was also up 11 here in the last poll. I think Harris is going to win by like 19% in New York, personally. Uh, I just think it needs its time to resonate. I think we're not really going to get good data for Harris until after the first debate or after she does more. I think after the first debate, though, we're going to get the final look. We're going to be in the final stage of it because that's in September. I think personally they should push up a debate between Harris and Trump. Not push up, but make a new one so they still have to. Hopefully they do something like that after the DNC, like late August, and then do one in September. I miss when they did three, but then again, three is kind of overdoing it. They don't need to do three. I think two is good. So now we're going to move on to the likely states. Delaware and New Jersey just go under that 14.9% margin. They're still going to be around probably like 12, 13-point victories. I know there was that one poll where Biden was down one in New Jersey. That's a stupid poll. Please don't tell me you believe that. If you believe that, you shouldn't even be on here. Like I mentioned last video, I saw some Republican guy who was clearly biased. Oh my God, like so much more than I was last time. Like I said, Biden had a chance, and and one of my friends told me I was biased, that he had a chance to win. Obviously, he had a chance to win. There's 3 months left. Uh, but that's what happens when some parties have like denial. They just don't accept the fact that someone can win, and then all of a sudden it's rigged. Blah blah blah. But New Jersey's not going to go red. If New Jersey goes red, I will delete my channel. I mean, like, I read buy-in presidentially. If Harris loses New Jersey, I will delete my channel. I shouldn't promise that, but I'm going to promise that. Unless some crazy stuff happens that would make it make sense, then yeah. Harris isn't going to lose New Jersey. She's going to win it by probably double digits. I think the worst she wins it by is like 9.5 points. She's got to win it by at least double digits. I mean, if she's in single digits, New Jersey and New York, that's wild. But she's not. She's up more in these states than it looks like. Obviously now it's different. There was believe me, a chunk of Democrats who were going to vote for RFK because they don't like Biden. A lot of that, at least probably like a third of those voters, which is a chunk of voters, that's like 3% of the country, are going to go back to the Democrats. Even RFK said that if Democrats were to do an open primary, they're not going to. That's probably not allowed and impossible, like I said. Even if they were to do that, that still wouldn't. Well, no, he said if they were to do that, then he wouldn't have had to leave the Democrat Party in the first place if he knew that was going to happen. Obviously, that's bullshit. 100%. He wasn't going to leave. He wasn't going to come back if he knew that. He was going to leave because, honestly, he lost his open primary. I don't know why he even said that, actually. RFK lost his open primary and then said that he's very upset that that they didn't have an open primary. It doesn't make sense. He's just honestly, he's a fucking loser. Even both sides can agree on that. So I'm just going to go over to the other likely Democrat states. Oregon tends to be closer, but always goes Democrat anyway. Colorado, New Mexico, and I'm going to bring Virginia back to the likely category, and this is the first step for Democrats to feel better, because that is the first major move in favor of the Harris switch. I think she's going to do better in Virginia. I've seen her do better in some polls. I've seen her do worse in some polls in Virginia. There was two batches, one where she was losing it instead of tying, when Biden was, and one where she was up 3 where Biden was tying, and that was the last batch. Out of the last batch, she was up 3 points in Virginia, more than Biden was. So, not that that necessarily means anything. Like I said, I don't go only off of polls. I go off situations, just trends in general. And I think the general trend for the last 10 years is Virginia is a generally uh, loyal state to Democrats. Obviously, the governor, Youngkin, who I think can't be reelected next year because of the rules. I think Youngkin is going to be a weird thing that Democrats look back on and say, how the hell did we lose here? Because I don't know, the economy after Biden's first year, yeah, the inflation, but again, didn't make sense how people blamed it on Biden. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's still going to go under the Biden-Harris administration. A lot of things Republicans were blaming Biden for is going to go to Harris now. I don't think it's going to have just as well of an effect as it was for the Biden blame initiative, where they just blame him for every single problem that's been going on. It's not going to work 100% like that. There's still going to be a chunk of voters that believe that Harris, for some reason, opened the border or something. It doesn't work like that, though. It just doesn't. So, again, anyone who has half a brain is going to realize Harris did not do much with this administration. She can't. She doesn't have power. She mostly just does appearances, but we're going to learn a lot more about her in the next couple of months. And I think, the fact that Democrats have just united almost entirely behind her is good for them. Maine at large, I'm going to say likely. New Hampshire, I don't know if I had it as lean, but if I did, it's likely now. And either way, I think Harris is going to do a couple points better pretty much everywhere. Maybe she might do worse in Arizona than Biden would have. Demographics in Arizona, I don't know if they're going to like Harris. Because Democrats have won almost every state election they have won every state election since 2018 in Arizona. Because I think the Senate race was called after the governor race. So since Sinema, there was Sinema, Kelly again, the governor, and Biden. That's 5 statewide races Democrats have won out of the last 6 in Arizona. They have not had a single black candidate up here. I don't know if Harris is going to win here. I think she totally can. I need to see more data of Arizona. There's not nearly as much data of Arizona this year as there was in 2020. There's not enough data at all. Again, so like I said last video, I don't blame it fully off the polls. My favorite part about basing stuff on the polls is the consistency. So if I see 100 polls where Harris is up 70, if I see Harris is up, 5 points in 50 of the last 60 polls, and Trump's up 2 in those other 10, I'm going to say Harris wins by like 3.5%. And that generally is very accurate. It was very accurate in 2020, and I hope the system works again. It's not the only thing, but I think that's a very reliable thing to look at is the consistency of the polls, not the polls in general, not the average. The consistency the last month before the election actually led to every state I had being right in 2020. So if you took every poll that was independent in 2020 from the last week of September to November, 7th or something in 2020, and you averaged those polls off their consistency, then yeah, Biden would have won every state that he did and lost every state that he lost. It's just the consistency. I know. I just keep repeating consistency. It's just so important. I do think Biden will. I do think Trump will win Arizona by like 2.5%. So that helps Republicans. That should probably help them a little bit in their hands. But like, if there's Republicans who are paranoid about this, don't be too scared because this shouldn't change the whole election. But I'll go over the rest and show you how it actually goes. Kansas, Utah, Montana. Hold on. I think it's my drink. So, Utah. If you're a Republican, you don't know what's been going on in Utah. It's pretty crazy to me. Hillary lost here by 25. Obama lost here by 40 points. Biden only lost here by, what was it, 19? And then McMullen, who's closer to a Democrat than a Republican, only lost here by single digits. I think obviously Trump does better here than that senator would have. I do think uh, Utah has a lot more moderates than any other safe Republican state, and I think Harris will lose here by 13 and a half points. That's my current prediction. 13 and a half points of a loss in Utah. It is one of the fastest growing states in the country, and usually the Salt Lake, which is a heavy Democrat city. That's why I say these things. Uh, Also with Kansas, Kansas hasn't really been growing, but again, you look at the shifts, the consistency of it shifting Democrat, it just keeps happening. They won that abortion vote, which is should really be even a Democrat issue, but it somehow has become a biased issue, which is wild to me. That women can't be a Republican and be for abortion rules a lot of the time. I meant for abortion, like in general, like approve of it. Like that's pretty interesting. That's just a rule where you just like shunned by your own party. You know, what if I know there's Republican women who are in the party and do approve of abortion, like entirely because of that vote. In what 2022, 2020, it was 2022, I think. Uh, that's just going to be a Democrat thing now, I guess, after last year or the year before. I don't remember when it happened. But yeah, it's just a Democrat thing now. So that's going to help the Democrats a lot. Okay, I'm yapping. I'm getting stuck on this because I'm babbling or stuttering or whatever. So I'm just going to go past that. And obviously, you're looking here. You're like, okay, look at the states left. Look how many votes Harris has. You're like, oh, Harris has a real shot here, and she does. But let me fill in some of the more Republican states, so it makes more sense. Alaska. Oh, you know what? I just realized I didn't really explain Kansas. They have a Democrat governor, and every year since 2000, it's shifted blue, except for 2016. So yeah, that's why I say that because it was also a likely state in 2020, and I think it's going to be a like a 2 point shift to the Democrats between 2020 and 2024. Again, it's going to be a weird year for shifts. It might be all over the place, so just pay attention to that. Alaska won their first state election for Democrats for the first time since like 2014. Or was it before that? I think 2014 was the independent governor one. But man, I can't talk. I'm stumbling right now. I'm sorry. Alaska again, also every year since 2000 has shifted towards Democrats. For Biden, he only lost it by basically single digits. He lost it by exactly 10 points. And then Peltola. Oh, I remember that name too. Okay, I'm getting better. I'm getting back. Last time I was forgetting so many names in my last video. But Peltola here, again, this House race, she won that. And again, it was against Sarah Palin. She's a horrible candidate. And it was also with the ranked choice voting, but it does show the Democrats have a chance here, and they are gaining momentum in Alaska. Again, I shouldn't have spent that much time on Alaska. South Carolina, I'm going to say likely because it was like 12 points last time. I think it'll be like a 14-point victory for Trump. It's just, again, one of those states that aren't as safe as the safe states, but they will always go Republican. Florida, I'm going to say a 9-point victory. Don't have to explain that. If I do, just ask me in the comments. I'll respond to you, but I don't have to. Same with Ohio. I'm not explaining. Vance, I don't know if Vance helps or hurts here because he is an awful candidate. But he did win, so probably helps. And then I'm going to say Texas, 7.2%. Harris obviously has a good chance at winning Texas if this was 2020 because that she's just been better. She would have been better with every demographic, I feel like, besides white. And Texas, you'd probably rather have the other demographics. So she could bring this to like a 3-point loss. I don't think she really does much better than Biden here, because of the situation that Democrats are in. But I do think if she like goes for re-election or whatever, and she does okay, then I think she'll get reelected. Yeah, again, this is the case she wins. I don't have her winning right now. But yeah, Texas is a huge thing. If she won Texas, it's over. If she somehow won Texas this year, all she needs to win is one of these four states right here: Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, or Georgia, or two of any of these other states. So Minnesota and Nevada, Wisconsin and Nevada, or Minnesota and Wisconsin. Any of those combos would work with her. If she won Texas, I would guarantee she wins all four of these states, probably Georgia and Nevada, maybe North Carolina. But here we're going to get to some of the changes now. I had Biden losing Georgia by what, 5.5 points, 4.5 points. I have Harris losing by 1.7. Harris is in range of winning Georgia. Again, polls don't look great, but they were polls when people thought Harris was going to be in the race. I do think Harris is going to do better in Georgia than Biden was going to. And I think that the fact that Georgia's in range with Harris, in my opinion, that's going to change a lot of things. They might go back to putting more money in Georgia. Also, North Carolina, it's going to be the same kind of classification. It's going to be like a 4-point victory, 3-point victory. But the fact I had Biden losing here by like 6. So it's like cuts that in half. North Carolina is a possible state to win for Democrats. Now, so again, there's so many possibilities right now. Once it gets to like September, we'll have a very good uh, vision of what it's going to look like. But I do think in like July of 2020, I had a very good map as well. I think I had no, I was pretty accurate. I had Florida going blue most of 2020, and I changed it the day of the election, and I'm so happy I did because I got every state right because of that. Okay, and then we're gonna have some other states to bring Harris back in the competition here. I have Harris winning Minnesota by 5, 6 points. Shouldn't be hard to explain. Everyone up for the Klobuchar is up here. She's a very good candidate. She's probably going to win by a safe margin, if not like 12 points. Uh, she's one of the OGs here. Michigan, I mean, I think she wins by 1.8. That's technically tilt. We'll have tilt. And then this leads it to she has 240 votes. Oh my God, she could win this thing. I think she even wins Nebraska's second district, so I'm going to give that a tilt for her. So this race might come down to Pennsylvania. She would need to win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin at this point, because she could win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Maine, and still. Oh no, I meant Wisconsin and Nevada. She needs to win Pennsylvania in this situation. Lucky for her, I do have her winning with Pennsylvania. So I guess that's decent. She'll probably win by the same margin that Biden did, like 1.2. I think is what he won by. I know that's what he won by because I have the best memory in the world. So look at this. This is going to be hopefully not a civil war if Harris would win. If Harris won by 270 to 268, there's going to be a lot of problems. But I don't think she's going to win here. I know, like I said, Harris has a way better chance at winning here. I don't think I'm overreacting or anything. I think she could win Nevada. I currently have Trump tilting in Nevada. Before I had him winning by like 4 or 5 points. I have him winning by half a point in Nevada. I have him winning by half a point in Wisconsin, and I have him winning by like 8, 9 points in Maine's second district. That is a 10 vote difference. Harris, this is my opinion of what the election's going to be as of today. Harris can win this. She needs to win Wisconsin or Georgia or Wisconsin and Nevada. No, she just needs to win Wisconsin on this. She doesn't even. She just needs to win these 3, and then she's probably going to win. I don't think she's going to, but I do think that's going to be the 3 states she needs to work on. This could honestly be the same map as Hillary as well. She could lose all these 3. And then it's the same thing as the 2016 election. That would be kind of interesting, because if this is the same as the 2016 election, well, I guess Nebraska's second is different here. But that would mean that it would be 3 years in a row, 3 elections in a row that the final count is 306 to 232. Because that's what Biden won by, that's what Trump won by against Hillary, and that would be what Trump would win by against Harris. Okay, real quick. Let me just make in the final map here before I finish this. Obviously, this isn't the final map. I got to go in, put in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. This is my final map as of right now. She has a chance. You know what I'll do actually? I'll flip some of these on here. That's just 2 state flips. That's enough for. Is that only 2 state flips? No, I'm stupid. 4 state flips. Again, it was 5 last time. Uh, the fact that this is close at all is a victory for Democrats. At this point, I think this is a big thing to go off of. There could be a Harris Newsom administration. There could be a Harris Bashir. Harris Bashir would be interesting. Uh, Harris. I don't know. She doesn't have. I don't even know if she has a short list. I didn't think she. I genuinely think that she didn't know until like a couple days ago that she was going to be the nominee here. But I also think she knew she was going to run eventually. So I don't think it's a big deal for her. I think she has been ready. Her team has been ready. I read that a couple weeks ago. They have been ready for her to go out. She's been going to rallies and not even mentioning President Biden once. Like she's been prepared for this for a while now. So I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's a major stop in the roads for anyone. I think she's a very good chance at winning. Can she win? I don't know.